Let me start with something most people won't tell you. If you feel unmotivated, if everything feels hard to start, if even simple tasks drain you, it's probably not because you're lazy, and it's probably not because you lack discipline either. It's because your mind is tired, not physically tired, mentally overstimulated. And once you understand this, the way you see yourself starts to change. Think about your day. Before you even get out of bed, you've already checked your phone. Messages, notifications, news, reels, videos, music, thoughts. Your brain hasn't had a single quiet moment, and the day hasn't even started yet. So later, when you sit down to work or study or improve your life, you wonder, why can't I focus? Why don't I feel motivated? What's wrong with me? But nothing is wrong with you. Your brain is just overloaded. Here's something important. Motivation doesn't disappear for no reason. It gets buried under constant noise, constant input, constant stimulation. Your brain was never designed to consume this much, this fast all the time, so it does the only thing it can to protect itself. It shuts down, and shut down feels like laziness. This is why you can scroll for hours, but can't focus for 10 minutes. It's not because scrolling is easier. It's because scrolling doesn't ask anything from you. No decisions, no effort, no responsibility, just endless stimulation. Your brain gets dopamine without movement. And slowly, real effort starts to feel painful. Let me say this clearly. If your brain is constantly entertained, it will resist anything that requires focus. Not because you're weak, but because you're overfed mentally. Just like your body doesn't want food when it's full, your mind doesn't want effort when it's overstimulated. This is why motivation advice often doesn't work. People say, just be disciplined. Push yourself. Try harder. But pushing an exhausted mind only creates guilt. And guilt doesn't create motivation. It creates avoidance. So you start avoiding. You delay work. You postpone goals. You wait for the right mood. And every time you avoid, you feel worse about yourself. A quiet thought appears. Why am I like this? That thought is heavier than any task you're avoiding. Here's the truth nobody teaches you. You don't need more motivation. You need less noise, less stimulation, less input, less pressure. Motivation doesn't come from hype. It comes from clarity. And clarity only appears when the mind gets space. Think about the last time you felt genuinely focused. Not excited, not hyped, just calm and clear. Chances are your environment was quieter. Your mind wasn't jumping from one thing to another. You weren't multitasking your existence. Overstimulation fragments attention. It trains your brain to expect constant novelty. So when real life feels slow, your brain labels it as boring. And boring feels painful. That's why starting feels so hard. This is also why you feel tired even when you do nothing. Because mental fatigue doesn't come from effort. It comes from excess. Too many thoughts, too many options, too many comparisons, too many voices telling you what to do. And here's where most people make a mistake. They try to fix this by becoming extreme, deleting everything, dopamine detoxing overnight, forcing monk-level discipline. That rarely lasts. Because the goal isn't control. The goal is balance. You don't need to escape the world. You need to reintroduce silence. Small moments where your brain isn't being pulled in 100 directions. Moments where you're not consuming, just existing. This is where motivation slowly returns. Not as excitement, but as willingness. The willingness to begin. And that's enough. Let's make this practical. If you feel overstimulated, don't ask yourself, how do I become motivated? Ask instead, how do I reduce mental noise today? Maybe it's starting work without music for 10 minutes, leaving your phone in another room, walking without headphones, doing one task without switching tabs. Small things. Unimpressive things. But powerful. Because motivation is fragile. It doesn't survive chaos. It grows in calm. Another important shift. Stop measuring your worth by how productive you feel. Your value isn't tied to output. You are not a machine. You're a human nervous system trying to survive a loud world. And here's something gentle but honest. If your life feels noisy inside, discipline will always feel hard. Not because you lack character, but because your mind needs rest before it can move. So don't fight your lack of motivation. Listen to it. It's telling you something. That you need space, that you need quiet, that you need fewer inputs and more presence. You don't need to fix your entire routine. You don't need a perfect system. You need one calm moment where you do one thing fully. That's where momentum begins. And yes, at first it will feel uncomfortable. Silence always does, because overstimulation numbs us, and quiet makes us feel again. But that discomfort is not a problem. It's a sign your nervous system is waking up. So if you've been calling yourself lazy or broken or undisciplined, stop. You're not failing. You're overloaded. And overload is fixable. Start by subtracting. Less noise, less pressure, less self-attack. And slowly, motivation will return. Not as hype, but as quiet strength. If this video felt uncomfortably accurate, you're not alone. And if you're still here, that means something inside you is ready for calm. Hold on to that. Still, you move.